What's good, everybody? Hope all is well. This is Zachary King from the Future is Female podcast. I'm here with the beautiful and multi-talented Tiffany. How you doing, Tiffany?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. So one of the things that we were talking about is men's mental health. Okay, we were talking about mental health, and with June being Men's Mental Health Month, I just thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to have a little bit of a conversation and talk about some things I think are just very necessary for us to go over. So with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and I just want to hear your thoughts of what you think about this.
What I think about it is I'm so thankful that they have a month that acknowledges men. You know, like they have a lot of different things that acknowledge this certain race or a certain whatever, but men, like I feel like sometimes these men get left out whenever they need them. They need the most support. Okay. Women, we go through a lot of stuff too, but men, they do. I feel like, you know, a lot of men were raised like in this aspect of never being able to like express themselves or, you know, don't be a punk. You look soft. You this and that. And it's like, who wrote that stuff?
Right.
Like, who wrote that stuff? And who came up with it to the point where it became believable? Okay. Because, you know, people like teach their kids to like their sons and men not to be soft or whatever. And it's like, what's soft? They're just expressing.
Well, what it is, and I can tell you from as a man, the world is very unforgiving to men. When we make mistakes, we are definitely, there's no coddling, there's no sugarcoating. We are held to that standard. We are held to that position. And unfortunately, it's more of a coping mechanism. It's like, don't cry, don't complain, but just deal with it, because we understand from a very young age, no one cares. No one, the cavalry isn't coming for us. Okay, as in with women, when women make mistakes, there oftentimes a sense of why she made that mistake, what led her down that path. Even when it seems very evident that she chose to make that, it's still like there's a way out. But when it comes to men, we're not really given that much grace.
No, and it's so unfortunate.
And we need our sisters to support us as well, because a lot of our sisters are always saying, hey, men, support us and what we got going on. And then when it comes times for them to extend that olive branch to us, it always like, well, find it your own way. So I'm grateful to the fact that we can start having these conversations. Yeah. Again, this is not a platform in which we want to do men versus women.
Right. No.
But this is a platform in which where it could be like a woman can express her grievances, a man can express his grievances, and we can find a solution for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that both genders need to just like give each other a chance to be soft. You know what I mean? Because even women, sometimes we have so much on us with our bodies, with whatever position we're in. Like we wear a lot of hats ourselves. Just the same way you all sometimes are grown up in certain spaces. Okay, women are growing up in certain spaces, maybe not the same space, but either way, it conditions us to be this tough rock.
Right.
And then when we come together, it's like, well, who's going to be soft first?
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think we should just give each other a chance. But honestly, about men, I really feel like they carry a lot of it the most, because no matter how much of a rock a woman would try to be, we were okayed to kick, scream, and cry. A man, it was like, they better not. And it's like, well, wait, why? Right. Who wrote this? Who taught them to teach them that? I just think that we're all one. I mean, the only difference is our parts, you know what I mean? But we all have feelings. Right. I mean, I get that men can do more than a woman or in certain things. Because some women, we can do what y'all do. But let's be real. Like, some stuff is really just built for a man. Like, some stuff is just built for a woman. And it's sad that they try to put us in these groups of who can cry and who can't.
Right.
But then it's like, but if it's a funeral, they can cry. It's okay then.
You know,
but as soon as it's over, I better not.
That's it. Did you see the list
weird.
that they came out with about all the different things? It's like 400 things that a man can't do because it's considered to be sassy. It's like, it was like,
no, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I gotta show you, but it's like some of the things that on the list was like him drinking out of a straw. Sassy.
Oh, I did see that. That's crazy.
Him enjoying like a fruity drink. He can't have like a fruity drink to it. That's sassy.
Y'all, I hate the internet sometimes.
He can't drive a white car. That was sassy. Yeah, that was sassy. That was sassy.
They stereotype the hell out of a man, and a lot of the people who are doing it aren't even a man.
None of them are, and none of them honestly could walk into a man's shoes. It's so much easier. It's almost like when I see women talk about like the issues of men, it's like how people like call out a fight when they watching a fight on television. They're like, duck that. Or how come he ain't do it? It's like it looks so easy.
It does.
But get in the ring with them. It's another.
You'll be beat up.
Right. And that's what I feel. It's like, come on, like if you was to really take a step back
grace.
And that's the thing that I would encourage our sisters. Don't get it wrong. This platform is heavily in support and celebration of our Black women because I feel like we need that. Yeah. Because I feel like, if I'm gonna be honest, all the way, they already destroyed the image of the Black man. Right, we have allowed that. Back in the day, there was no podcast to fight some of the nasty movies that was portraying Black men a certain kind of way. Mm-hmm. There was no internet and social media or IG and what platforms that they could fight some of them. The Dolomites and the Black exploitations. Right.
There wasn't a lot of resources.
It wasn't
like
nothing
that.
for us to fight back.
Yeah.
Now we have the tools to fight back, and it's like. The Future is Female is my podcast to fight back against those nasty images.
Exactly.
It's I understand that you're, as a woman who's a runway model, the reason why you might get overlooked or might get a stereotype is because of these poor images that are happening. And they're expecting for you to act like that. And that's not your character at all. The reason why a lot of good women can't find decent men is because the image of women that are being put out there is of the ratchet women. And we don't know how to talk to the other type women.
Yeah, they used to one thing these days.
Right.
And they don't know how to, maneuver. I think it's a lot of people with closed minds. Like everybody should keep an open mind. So if you do run into a certain type of woman that's different from this type of woman, you'll know how to adapt. But you got a lot of followers.
Right.
So all they see is this one.
Right. We don't know how to address that. Like there are people, like I know we just had a girl on a show. Her name was Fee. Amazing woman. And she was like, I didn't come from struggle. I don't come from that. And that should be celebrated. Yeah. Because oftentimes when you hear our struggle, it's like, I was born by the wayside. All my life
I had to fight.
Right.
It's like, damn, we can be, because my dad was, I'm definitely from the suburbs, but I definitely spent some time in the hood. Right, I got family who was from there. I shout out to the hood. Shout out to Nashville. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Murfreesboro. It is what it is. I got the taste of both worlds. Right. But again, I feel you. It's like it seems like the majority of Black people, it's like, gosh, why do we always have to be sad?
It's like, can we celebrate the two? Everybody talk about the importance of pulling together. So can we start celebrating that? Do we always gotta let those who might have been, maybe they did receive the short end of the stick? Let's give them the credit. Let's say that they tried and it didn't work out. But do that gotta be the voice of marriage? Can we allow those? Can
we paint a different picture?
Right. We are. God has blessed us Black people to be and so we're really, dimensional.
I swear to God, I was like, we are so pretty. Like sometimes I'll look at us. And I'm like, I hope they don't think I'm crazy, but like Black people are really beautiful.
No,
we really are though. Like even if you go to the slums of the slums, like we're really beautiful people. Right. Whether it's our heart, whatever, we're golden. Really, they just try to make us feel like we're not, or whatever closed-minded people have done that. But we're lit.
Right. And I'm grateful to hear a black woman say this because of our representation, because let's be real here. No diss to any other community, but again, I'm not going to be, there's no qualms about knowing where I stand at with this, right? The LGBTQ community basically hijacked this month, and it's not even looked at as Men's Health Month at this point. It's looked at as their month. You know, you see I think one of them just got like a crazy award, like Miss America or something like that. Okay. Some pageant. Seriously, one of them really just got like, it was at some pageant and a man won that. And we see like it a lot, like a transgender, you know? So it's like, again, I'm not saying that those people in that community don't deserve a platform either. But when it becomes their month, they are very adamant about letting it know that this is their month. Yeah. As men, can we get some of that?
I think that's one reason why I'm glad that they have a month for y'all. But I think that it's so serious that, like, with Pride being a serious platform and having so much meaning behind it, it's the same pressure for a black man or a man, men's month. So, like, if that's the case, then let's separate the months, because both of them are up here. Like, both of them mean a lot. I have, shout out to Pride. Shout out to humanity.
And I don't have no smoke with them dudes. Like, however they choose to do.
You're just saying, black men's health, y'all, the suicide rate and addiction is so high right now for men, all because they don't know how to express. All because they didn't know who to turn to, because they were told don't talk about it, and literally put the weight of the world on their shoulders. And it's like, well, how do y'all expect them to do that?
Right.
I mean,
one of the things I also tell women is, when it comes to men, you should understand that a lot of us, we didn't necessarily have good beginnings. Okay. We didn't really grow up I'm talking as a collective. We didn't grow up with good, we didn't grow up with a father. And then with the fathers that we did have, they wasn't in good representation. So we had a lot of systematic oppressions. We didn't necessarily grow up with the greatest hand. So I tell my women and my audience to be patient, be graceful. Understand that you're looking at a work in progress. The man that you might see as lame, he may not be the man that he's going to be in 10 years from now. 10 years from now, he could be that man. Understand, listen to him, get substance from him.
Get some insight.
Right. He might be able to offer you more substance than what actually the tangibles. Yep. Right?
Yep.
But I promise you, that man will probably, he's going to produce some tangibles, but listen to his story. Listen to where he's trying to go. Yeah. Not just the here and now. And I think that's the reason why. So again, with this platform, I want to change the narrative that we have, because it seems like a black nerd could get beat up in our community. He could get teased in our community. And then when he go out to be successful in another community, the first thing we want to say is he's not black. He's not. And
I know I have cousins that I actually resided with in in some of the worst parts of Nashville. And I have a cousin who turned out to be, great, a correctional officer, never had, I think he had like one fight. Like some people really know how to get out of those environments and be something different than what the hood sees, but they aren't used to anything else other than that. So it's like, oh, he don't belong to us. But it's like, but he came from the same root, and you can do the same thing, baby. Have some confidence. That's another thing why I said, no matter what you do, no matter what you touch, it's all about what you allow into your mental gates. You know what I'm saying? If somebody keeps telling you you're nothing, change that to the opposite.
No, for sure.
I mean, your inner child tells you when you're young what they want.
Right.
And it's, we ignore it and shit. And then we let people beat that inner child down.
Right.
That's when we have to take over. Like, I'm not going to hate on the next person, because I've been there before.
But how do we get to a place of consciousness? Because I know for me, I have grown to the part now where I tell that little negative voice to piss off. Like, you know what, man, I'm not listening to you. I'm at that space where I have, and that was because I'll give you my solution for it. But let me get your outlook of it. How do you handle that little nasty negative voice?
God, that's when I tell you I fight with her all the time. I fight with her all the time, because growing up I had a lot of I had low self-esteem.
For sure.
Yeah, I definitely did. And that voice followed me for a long time. And it took for me, even years after I started modeling, to really believe like, well, maybe you are pretty. And maybe you are this.
So you are pretty. Let me tell you that right now. You are very pretty.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But now I just honestly, this is my method. I ain't no therapist or nothing like that. But I literally will say the word stop. When you say stop, it like wakes your brain up. You have to come to a place of consciousness. Like if you just literally use that tool, and I actually got this from my therapist, so I'm not the therapist, but she is. That's one of the tools. You can literally like say that word out loud, and it's like, wait, what happened? Oh yeah, I was being negative. Let me change that.
Nice.
It puts you to a place where we're not doing this, because that's Satan a lot of the time anyway. He's a hater. It's like, oh, she's happy. He's happy. Oh, let me do this.
Right.
He's a hater. Like, again, those mental gates, what you put in your head, you really have to tune it out. For
sure. Also, I think too, for me, one of the things that helped me was, I remember when I went to jail, right? And the first night had to be the scariest. Yeah, maybe the first or the second night.
Yeah.
And it wasn't scary because of where I was at. In some ways, I felt comfortable because it was like I knew chaos. I grew up around chaos. I knew fighting. I know how to fight.
It's
so
like,
it wasn't no thing. The scariest part was being alone with my thoughts. I mean, I'm serious. When them doors close behind you and you don't got your cell phone, there's no one you could call. You don't got a pen. You don't got nothing. There was nothing in that room for me to tap. It was nothing. It was, if you tap, it was cut the noise out, on the noise. It was nothing. You had to sit down there and quiet and just sit there and just and stew in your thoughts. That was some scary shit.
Oh, and that's why Men's Health Month is so important. That's why men's health period is important, whether it's mental, whatever, because y'all already sit in y'all's thoughts a lot without even being in jail. So I know that was just 10 times more intense, if not 100.
I'm not gonna lie.
But y'all men are so strong, and it's like sometimes all y'all need, and we ain't trying to be your mamas. I know I ain't.
Right.
That's where people get it messed up. It ain't that. But sometimes you just need to fill that soft space because, I mean, you open the door and you got to be this hard brick every second, not every hour, not every night. You don't even get a break to be soft. At least women, we can be tough. And it's like, well, if I do need to cry at work, it'll be fine. But we try to just be tough. Y'all can't do that ever.
Get your big ass up. What you crying for? You way too big. Get your big ass up.
That's horrible.
No, it's the absolute truth.
I know, but it's reality. But that's not right.
Truth.
Like, I feel like men should be the same way, because girls can do that all day at work. If a man do it instead, the same way girls are in there like patting up their friend, a man does it and they get clowned. I mean, it's funny, but it's not.
No. So listen.
It's really not. You really don't know what people facing.
My little girl don't live here in Philly. She lives in North Carolina. And there's times when I would, I would fly back home and I'm in a bad mood, or even at the airport. Like, I have been in times period where I have cried that she left, had to go back home.
That's your baby.
And the looks you get is like he's too big to be crying. Like, seriously.
Is that a man crying?
Right. I'm serious. Like, it is not to be a man. It's not easy. And it's crazy, and I'm about to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off. It really don't come from other men. It really comes from the women who looks at us that way. The other men kind of understand. It's like, brother, I get it. Cry.
We need that anyway. Yeah.
It's the women who often look at us. And I know women are about to say, oh my God, it's the women you choose and everything else. But I also say that sometimes it's very situational. You don't know how a person going to be towards you until you put them into certain circumstances, until you put them in certain arenas.
Right.
While me and you dating, we could be fine. But then I introduce you to my kid. I see a side of you that I never would have saw before. So it's like, I don't necessarily know until I was able to put you there. Right. I asked all these questions. I try to figure it out, but I don't necessarily know until I put you there.
Exactly. And that's, I think, what it really is too is like the same way you all were raised and conditioned, because y'all were raised and conditioned like that to believe that's how y'all were supposed to be, even though we still have yet to come up with who wrote this.
Right.
It made us women believe it. Well, I've done that before until I finally started a healing journey on my own. And I'm like, we've all been fooled.
Right.
Really. We really have.
Right.
Like, for whatever reason, we were also raised to think, because we watched our brothers get told,
right,
you ain't supposed to do that. If we get into an argument, you ain't supposed to do that. That was our sisters. That was our instant comeback.
Right.
Whatever mom and dad said, whatever grandma said, or whatever, we all were conditioned to think this thing about men, and like that's just what it's been. But now that we're learning these healing journeys, we want to break generational curses and things like that. We realizing that we were just wronged the whole time.
And I'm grateful, like I said, I'm grateful to hear that, because a part of the reason why you have so many podcasts that are like male centric, because our men are now able to tell the story, but we do rely on the women actually keeping a listening ear and not just shutting us down, actually listening to what men got to say, because we go through a lot, ladies. I know there's about to be a bunch of women in the comments that say, women, us too,
we do,
women too.
I stand with the ladies, so don't do it. But we got to be softer to these men.
But this was just a few these few minutes out of this 24 hours a day. We just wanted to talk about some of the things that you know what I'm saying? So
we can do that for the men.
These few little minutes, ladies, was not going to hurt you.
It's not.
To talk about some of the stuff that us men go through. With that being said, I thank you for your time, your effort, your energy, your story. I appreciate that. So if you have any closing words, by all means.
Shout out to every man out here who's trying. Shout out to every woman as well, but definitely these men who deal with so much. Shout out to just all of us who are just really trying. Stick together. We don't have to hate each other. What are we doing that for? It's enough of that. Let's try to be like cool and love and be, let's all try to just heal. Let's do it. It's not easy, but we can really do it. Okay. We can do it.
We can do it. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
Welcome.
Appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. With that being said, I'm Zachary King, and this is a Future is Female podcast.